Okay, I'm live.
I need a second. Good.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Fast Charging with B&B, episode 18. Ken's You Believes It. I'm Brian.
And I'm Bear.
Oh, he's bare. He's barely bare
Arr.
today. Oh, guys, how's it going? What a week. What a week. Feel like
I know how it's going.
nothing really happened this week as far as I can tell, right?
Nothing really happened, so I went out there and I created a bunch of fake news so that we could talk about it.
Good, good.
So I think that should go over pretty well.
Yeah.
They're all totally unbelievable stories.
It's what the internet's
Things like,
built on.
yes, of course it is. I made up a story about Russia invading Ukraine, and
Nice.
that took off. That took
Yeah,
off.
that went bigger than I expected. Yeah,
Yeah, that's true. I had a tweet go semi-viral.
I did
Um, I
too. What was yours?
Yeah, I put out a tweet when I was trying to change my Model 3 order to a Model S. Tesla wanted to keep my $250
What?
for the order fee,
That's ridiculous.
and I was talking to someone through the chat, going, "Hey, I'll place this order right now for the Model S, but I just want my order fee. I don't want to cancel my order. I mean, I just want to apply it to my
Right.
Model S." He goes, "Oh, well, if you find another Model 3 that you like in the future, it will still be there for you." I was like, "Okay, I'm going up to a Model S. I don't really think I'm going to buy a Model 3 in the future." He goes, "Well, it's non-transferable." And but he goes, "If you find a Model 3 in stock, or if you want to give it to a friend, they can have the fee." And I was like, "Well, that doesn't make any sense. You just said it was non-transferable, but you're telling me I can give it to a friend." It's, "Well, they just take over the account that it's tied to." I'm like, "Okay, that's not going to work." I was like, "It's like, okay, so are you ready to place your order?" I'm like, "No, I'm you're giving me a bad taste in my mouth over this.
Wow.
I've got two Teslas, a cyber quad for kids, got a Cybertruck on order, and you want to keep my $250?" So I said, "You know what? I'm going to have to think about it. I'm going to tell my wife, and she's just going to go nuts."
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
um,
Yeah.
I
My
played
viral.
that, and
My my.
they
my
called me 10 minutes later
so I
and
had.
said, "You
Oh,
want,
go ahead.
go ahead."
Well, I was gonna say I
You
had
want me-
two tweets that went a little nutso yesterday. So if you guys aren't following us on Twitter, maybe you should. I've got
Oh
him
yeah.
on the screen at sometimes, but I'm at 4K Podcast and he's at Bears Workshop. My two tweets were one was Bob for Commish, who's running to be the Travis County Commissioner, says, "Why are we giving $60 million to one of the world's richest companies and the world's richest man?" And it's like, they've already spent billions of dollars. The payroll alone is going to be $2 billion a year. And in one sentence, he says, their jobs don't pay enough. They start at 36,000. And then in the next sentence, he's saying, and they're driving up house prices. Sorry, which is it? Because it can't be both, my friend. $36,000 jobs do not drive up house prices in America.
No, no, no.
And the other one was this at Brianna Wu, who decided that the Starlink system in Ukraine is never going to happen. And she took the opportunity to promote herself because she's ghoulish. So, anyway.
Yeah. Well, in the end, Tesla gave me my $250. I put out a tweet, didn't get any traction, but Tesla calls me and says, "Come on, buy the car." I was like, "Yeah, do something about that money." They ended up applying it to the cost of the car, so that I basically had to put down $500, and I'm fine with that because one way or another I'm going to pay for it.
Right.
But I put out a tweet whining about how the fact that they, if you're getting a different car, the order fee will not transfer. If you change your car entirely, you can keep your order fee. Like, that doesn't make sense. I'm working through the same people, the same account. Let's
Right.
do the right thing.
Right.
By the next morning, that tweet had almost 600 likes on it,
Whoa.
and I was like, "Whoa!" I tagged Elon Musk, but he didn't respond to me. I don't
That's
know why.
weird.
Yeah,
I
'cause
thought he wasn't busy.
Hey, look who's here! JJ's here.
Oh, there's JJ. How are you, JJ? Good to
Hey,
see you.
JJ.
Let's
Are
well,
we-
now that JJ's
he
here,
wants to know.
I think we should probably just get into it.
Yeah, we should. He wants to know if we're going to talk about Nikola earnings, and maybe we'll do that after we talk about Lucid. I'm sure we can give that a couple minutes because we didn't really get a chance to talk about it last week because we pre-recorded. What's with the
Right.
face?
Oh,
Something
you were
happening?
frozen on my end. Yeah,
Oh,
doesn't matter.
I actually was doing a ventriloquist
Very good
thing.
work. Very
Where,
good work. So,
yeah,
did you hear anything about Ford's charging system?
yeah, I think they're pretty proud of it. And I wish Tesla would have something like that also because I think it'd be nice to have like a little power wall sitting in the garage because that's what this basically does. It allows the electricity to go back and forth. So I think that's pretty cool. Uh, the cost is decent for what it does. It's more than a typical wall charger, which is $400 to $500.
Mm-hmm.
This one's $1,300,
Mm-hmm.
but it does really replace, in essence, a power wall.
Right.
Being that it can take the energy out of that Ford and put it into your house when you need it. I mean, it's not 100% replacement. I don't want anybody to
No.
think that it is, but it's a decent little backup to have. So I think that's kind of cool. I still haven't ordered a Lightning, so I don't really know what to think because,
And
uh,
and you have to
you know,
consider most people don't own a generator, and most people do own a car. And I don't know
yeah,
how often you would need this, but I'm not going to complain.
yeah. I like the fact that the Ford allows you to be able to plug things in. I just would like to know what kind of things you can plug in because a lot of things you use on a construction site, they take a lot of power,
Yeah.
especially when they first start.
Yeah.
Power saws and things like that, and air compressors. I set up a solar system uh, in my yard here in a shed that I had. I set up the solar system, and was going to put my air compressor back there. And as soon as the air compressor would kick on, it would trip the inverter,
Right.
and it was a 5,000 watt inverter.
Wow.
Uh, so it would I think it was 5,000 watts with like 10,000 max or something like that, but it was at least 5,000, and it would trip it every time. It could not power the air compressor, so you need a lot of power. So that's what I'd like to see as far as the Ford Lightning and whether or not their plugins can handle something like that.
1,300. I mean, I don't know. That feels like a little bit of a markup. Anybody else doing
Well,
markups these days?
yeah, yeah. I heard VW is doing a little bit of marking up.
Yeah. So some user on Reddit went ahead and called every VW dealership in the area to find out if he could get an ID.4, and found markups ranging from a few thousand to 10,000, 10 grand of an extra markup. Now, to be fair, ICE cars are getting markups like these too sometimes, but boy, this is just wasted money. It's not going into R&D. It's going into a dealer's pocket and a used car salesman's nose.
Yeah, that I God, I hate car dealerships so much.
Yeah.
Having worked at one a long, long time ago, I know the back end and how shifty and shady they are,
Yeah.
and I'm never going to really have anything good to say about any one of them. I and as much
Yeah.
as I like to haggle, I get into it and I'll spend all night there. I'll leave at 1 o'clock in the morning to get the deal that I want. I and part of me enjoys that, but at the same time, it was so refreshing to order a car from Tesla and direct from the manufacturer is going to lead the way, I
Yeah.
think, in the future. And I think once these dealerships figure out a way to, or I'm sorry, once the manufacturers find a way to cut ties with dealers, they're gonna. That's what's going to happen. I think that's where you're going to see manufacturers creating a new entities
Yeah.
like GM created Saturn. They're going
Yeah.
to create an electric division, and it's going to be direct to consumer,
Yeah.
and they're going to cut out these dealers.
Yeah. It's weird that they want to get rid of dealerships. That they, for that matter, what about service centers? you know, this article you found, it's pretty. Was it you or I don't remember. West Virginia wants to ban Tesla and others from sending over-the-air updates to customer cars.
Yeah, that was you, by the way.
That was me? All right. Well, I put it
Yeah,
together.
I bet you have, since you picked out, I bet you have a lot to say about this.
It's just dumb. West Virginia, coal country, is very backwards, I guess. It's, this is a move aimed squarely at Tesla. The only other people really doing over-the-air updates, Ford is capable to an extent. We talked about this a week or two ago. There's only a few companies that are doing it, but it's catching on and it's getting widespread. And what on earth? Why would you do this? It was introduced by the Dealership Trade Association. Oh, what a shocker.
Yeah, I don't think that thing's going to go anywhere. And if it does, Sam Alexander will. I think he already did a video on this, but I think he'll be screaming at the top of his lungs, complaining about this, even more so. I can't see how anyone who has a conscience could go, yeah, this is good for the consumer. It's horrible. I think Oklahoma also had a bill that was introduced, and I don't remember what it was for, but it was the guy who introduced it happened to be part of a family that ran dealerships all of his life. Do you remember that one?
Yes, it's familiar, but I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, whatever it was another ridiculous thing aimed clearly at preventing companies like Tesla and the other ones in the future that will do over-the-air updates because they are going to lose money.
Yeah,
that's yeah. So I don't know what the particular topic is, but it all comes down to, well, we're going to lose money if you do this.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Good times. So have you heard of this electric car company called Tesla?
Nope. Who are they?
Okay, so they are a small boutique manufacturer with a new factory opening in, thank you, Fortune, for the pop-up, in Berlin, outside of Berlin, in Grünheide.
You know what I think about this? I think I heard about this, and I'm going to say what I have people saying about the Lucid factory and the Nikola factory. I think I saw a picture of it, and that's really small. Is that an IKEA warehouse? It's so tiny.
Yeah.
It looks like a Walmart. Is that a Home Depot? These are all comments I've heard. So.
Well, I mean, are they wrong? Well, yeah, and they are wrong, but they're comparing apples to oranges. Anyway,
Absolutely.
Berlin may finally open this week. It is rumored that the final permit could be issued on Thursday. And did you see the picture of the permit application?
I did not see the picture. Is it
it's in
this?
the tweet in the middle of the story on Fortune there. It is all those blue
Fortune
binders.
just wants me to join them. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I got that one too. It's all those blue binders. That is the permit application.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
That's great.
That is very German.
Yeah, and you know what? In China, that doesn't happen because all you got to do is slip them some money.
Yes.
Enough money to share to all the people above them also.
I believe that is shifting, and but in any case, it is still streamlined. Environmental impact reviews, as far as I'm aware, do not exist. But this little company, Tesla company, they make kind of like scooters but larger. They also have a factory in Texas that they're working on. It is similarly a bulky boy, and they've got 227 cars parked outside that appear ready for delivery. Long-range Model Ys.
Well, I had music on mine. Yeah, if you want a black or blue car, so Tesla only makes black or blue cars?
Apparently.
Is that because they're beating the competition to death?
Mm-hmm. That's why.
You see what I did there?
I do. And they're all long-range models. They're not performance. So, and it is understood that they have 4680 battery cells. So this is interesting. I'm curious if we'll see a different model designation? Because there's no way the range and weight are the same with a different battery pack, but we shall see.
Well, absolutely not. I think, and this is not really an opinion. I think the best way to start this off is for them to have lowered the amount of batteries, make the car lighter, but keep the range the same, and that way they can sell them to existing orders.
Right? And have
And
more
then
batteries to go around.
right, and then once they get through that and they start getting caught up, then they can actually have different configurations out there.
Right.
As far as something with a longer range, though, I still wonder about how they're going to, if they're going to drop the price because now these cars are so much cheaper for them to make, or are they going to try and get all their capital expenses back in the first year?
That's my guess.
Anybody who buys one, yeah. Well,
That's my guess, because why cut
they
prices?
didn't pay for this factory. They didn't pay for the factory. They got credits from all the other companies.
Yeah. Yeah.
They got enough credits to pay for this factory.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing I was pointing out recently to my stickinabox.com friend was that if you mark up the Model Y or 3 by $5,000 and you sell 1 million, that's $5 billion. You just got another factory. So
Yeah.
which would you rather have with the wait list already many months long? It's hard to
I would like a cheaper car.
I would too. But as an
Yeah,
investor, I understand.
And the weight is it's something that me as a constant car buyer, usually buying something instantly, would be a little bit it is a little bit hard for me to wait.
Right.
Builds up some anxiousness. We got a delivery date on our Model S, which was June to early July. So now it's just like a
Right.
lot.
Well, and a lot of times a car dies and you need to replace it, and you can't. What are you going to do? Go to Enterprise for 6 months? That's not reasonable.
Yeah, and that is really a big concern of mine, because when I'm driving around in my car and like you get into an almost fender bender thing and you're like, oh my God, what if I crash my Tesla? Oh, well, okay, at least I get a new one and maybe get a couple new features or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, but it would be 6 months. What am I going to do in that time period? I would think it'd be a great program if Tesla had something where they worked with insurance companies, and if your car got totaled and you're replacing your car with your Tesla with a Tesla, that they could somehow front load you. I don't think
Yeah.
it'd be that difficult, and
But-
I think it would be a great plan, and it keeps, because there are probably people who would want a Tesla but go, I can't wait 6 months for a car. I've got to get something today. And now they're out of the Tesla market unless
Yeah.
they're finding something that's used.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's going to be my next tweet to Elon. How about this? Just saying.
Right. What else we got going on? You know?
Well, let's see.
You were
we have
talking
that
about
little-
the 4680s and how much range they have.
Yeah, so there's cars that have more range.
Really?
Yes. But there's very few cars.
Yeah. How much
All
range
right.
do you really need?
Oh, we're going to that?
I thought we were. Weren't we?
No, I thought we were going to Lucid.
Oh, well, let's go to Lucid.
Panic.
All right. So
I've-
this is your
I've got that
wheelhouse.
set back further.
Let's hear it.
Oh, I'm heartbroken. And I'm confused. So Lucid delivered 125 cars in 2021.
Yep.
They lowered their production forecast from 20,000 to 12 to 14,000. Those are really baffling. Not the production, because I didn't see the production like for 20,000 coming out, so that's not a surprise. I'm not overly concerned with that as much long term. But I'm confused for several reasons, because I kept stating that I don't believe that they're playing musical cars and moving them around the parking lot. Now, at this point, it looks like they were. Not for my benefit. I think what may have happened was they were putting cars out in the waiting area, covering them up. They were missing some parts. And when they got those parts, they moved them back in and put in whatever they needed to do. And they brought them back out. That's the only thing I can think of.
Well, they don't have much storage space inside.
Yeah. So I saw more than 500 cars come out of there.
What was your delivery estimate?
I thought that they were going to surprise all of us and have anywhere from 500 to 1,000. But I was also on the fence because I was confused. Those wheels that you see on that picture on the Inside EV article, those are only on the Dream Edition.
Right.
And they were supposed to make 520 Dream Editions before they made any other car. So we see these wheels on the cars that are in the parking lot, and just as of last week, we still see these wheels out there, which tells us they're still making Dream Editions. So I'm scratching my head, and I started a rumor. I think I told you about this last week. I started a rumor that there must be more than 520 Dream Editions, because we've seen more than 500 cars come in and go out, or come in and then move spots apparently. So I was positive that they were going, not 100%, 99% positive that they were either going to have more Dream Editions, or I was just going to fall on my face and be extremely wrong. So the thing that really throws a wrench into this whole thing is that they've got another car, their GT, that also has a set of rims that you cannot get on the Dream Edition. And we've seen those cars in the parking lot. So why are they making the GTs when they haven't delivered all of the Dream Editions? And if you listen to the call, they've built 400, they've built more than 400, so we're going to assume 401, and they've delivered over 300 cars to customers, so we're going to assume 301. So when they said that, they had 120 cars in the waiting area. So I guess you could say they've built 420 cars, because I could see 120.
Right.
So it just leaves me scratching my head. And there's probably some in transit, and there's
Sure.
So they're building GTs. They haven't delivered all of the Dream Editions. So you see the GTs coming out, you're like, okay, they've got to be done with the Dream Editions. But then you see more Dream Editions coming out. So I was just totally confused at this point, and I was just hoping that it was just going to be a good surprise.
Right.
I was surprised. There was a rumor of someone on Twitter talking about there's only going to be 120 cars for last year, and he was steadfast on it, and he was right. But I understand production, supply, and everything like that. I don't understand how I kept seeing cars rotated in and out of the parking lot.
Right.
So
Well,
that was disappointing. On the good news side of this, they do have 25,000 reservations. So that puts their potential sales at 2.4 billion for the orders that they have.
their
So
cash
that's
burn is breathtaking.
Oh my God, yeah, I was talking about that earlier. Yeah, that's a lot of money. That is a
Yeah.
whole lot of money.
Yeah.
But don't worry, they had $21 million of income
Well,
from the deliveries.
yeah. So to put it in perspective, they're burning what, like $1 billion a quarter or something, or is it? It's
Yeah,
so their
yeah.
R&D expense is already as high as Tesla's reached in 2017, the year they sold 240,000 cars. That's a lot of R&D, my friend, and great,
Oh,
you've got
yeah.
good range, but I'm very suspicious of that horsepower rating, because it doesn't beat the Plaid 0 to 60, and it doesn't beat the Plaid 60 to 130.
It's a heavier car. You can have
I
more
guess.
horsepower, but if it's a heavier
mean,
car, and
Yes.
there's other factors in there
Sure.
also. So I don't know. I don't think the car was built for performance. When they built the Plaid, they built it to go 0 to 60 as fast as possible.
Yeah,
I mean, they wanted that title, even though they never really said it, but they wanted the title of the fastest production car. They got it. Lucid
absolutely.
wasn't really looking for that. They were looking for more luxury. Did you see the video of John Bettinger
I did.
and Sandy Monroe? Okay.
I did. And in the comments,
And I,
Jeff was pointing out, yeah, Sandy says his wife would want one, and he's glad she didn't see it because they're so expensive.
yeah,
What my takeaway from that is, Sandy said, "This ain't no Bentley. This is very nicely appointed, but in terms of luxury, it is not the cream of the crop."
I agree with that.
I have not seen one in person, so I rely on those accounts. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, I've been in them. I've been in one, and I thought my wife's Mercedes E300 was classier than that.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing is you can buy an EQS. Mercedes has already got EVs,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
Ooh, I hit the microphone. I hope I didn't like
Didn't
kill
sound bad
anybody's
on my
ears.
end. So,
All right.
so that's great. So Lucid, also by the way, their new factory just next to the plant is looking great. That'll come online. I left comments on your video about that, but it's looking great. Any other
Yeah.
factories to discuss?
Yeah. So Lucid confirmed Saudi Arabia plant. They put this out at about the same time they announced their earnings or lack thereof, which I think this was kind of fluff because everybody knew that they were going to have a plant in Saudi Arabia. That was, I believe, part of their deal as far as getting the money was to build a plant in Saudi Arabia. They've got a picture on here that looks nothing like a factory. So,
I don't know. That looks like a very nice showroom
yeah, possibly
or
either
a
that or
museum.
a museum or
A
yeah, that
museum
I
of
was thinking
contemporary automobile manufacturing. Please pick up a wrench. Do you have any do you have
wrench.
any parts? Ah, that's the price of admission.
Yeah, and you know what's speaking of parts, the Peter Rawlinson said that the things that they were having trouble with were things like carpet,
Yeah.
and that is a little bit more surprising. But at the same time, I have seen so many shortages since that C word came out on just like the most random things.
I had trouble getting sesame oil. There was no sesame oil in my town.
Yeah, you know what? Part of it was I kept hearing that the factory burned down on so many different things. The factory burned down. And I'm like, where are all these factories that are burning down? But I couldn't get chemicals for my landscaping stuff. The factory burned down, and that factory never reopened. By the way, uh, they stopped making that product because supposedly this factory burned down. Tree stakes became a highly sought after item, and we all know about the toilet paper
Right. Well,
issue. That was probably the first thing.
that was just
Uh,
that wasn't a supply shortage.
Masks,
That was a
gloves.
common sense shortage.
No, I really needed it. I was when that thing started, I was eating Taco Bell every night, so I needed the supply that I got.
Smart.
and
Smart.
and I'll get through it. I'll get through that supply that's still up in my attic.
Well, that's not loco at all. Just told my brother if I go, I'm not going to stock up, and if I can't get it when I need it, I'll just come to your house and take care of business on the doorstep. So
To be honest with you, I gave away so many things of toilet paper to relatives and things like that. People who were like, they were done. They were using the tree. You know, you find a tree that's the right size, it's going to pretty much do the same thing, but it's not convenient or ethical.
that's yeah, yeah.
You don't have to picture it. It's okay.
It's way too late. It's way too late. So bad news in Ukraine, but I guess there's, the Tesla doesn't get enough credit for the good they do. There's a lot of hate for the brand generally. Some of it from people who I like. But one thing Tesla did is they enabled free charging along basically the refugee evacuation routes through Poland, Slovakia, and Hungary. And not just for Teslas, but for all cars, because in Europe, Superchargers work with all vehicles. And so that's...
Hey,
yeah.
I'm going to play devil's advocate on this one.
Here we go.
You know, I like Tesla, so I'm not just trying to tear them apart. I was just out of the country and I saw 0 EVs in these other countries. So in Poland, Slovakia, Hungary, how many Teslas are there? Do they have Superchargers there?
It doesn't matter because whatever charge, because anybody can charge it at a supercharger.
Well, but that just started. So they generally put superchargers in areas with a decent amount of Teslas.
Right.
Is there a big presence in these countries?
They can't invent cars where they can't invent chargers that didn't exist. But
Are there a lot of charging stations?
Show me one gas station, one gas company that's given away free gas to get out of the path of a hurricane. And this is not a new thing. They've done it with hurricanes. They've done it with other natural disasters. At one point, somebody had tweeted to Elon saying, we're trying to get out of the hurricane zone, and we have a software-limited battery pack. Can you uncork it for the week? And he was like, absolutely. It's done. All cars in Florida are uncorked.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I do think this is a good thing.
Yeah.
And Tesla has stepped up, and they've done some other things also. And a lot of companies have stepped up in the sense that they have said, we are no longer deal with Russia. BP and Shell have both cut ties on very, very big projects. So, and that's in support of the Ukrainian people, and I do support that.
Yeah.
And Scott just says, Google says 8 superchargers in Poland.
There you go.
So I just didn't think that there was a lot there.
Well, I would say that's not a lot, but it's more free charging than anyone else is offering.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And I just hope people aren't taking advantage of it and just getting free charging when people actually need it because of the limited amount. So,
yeah. Further on that subject, the communications minister of Ukraine asked for Starlink, which SpaceX turned on, and got a truckload of dishy McDish faces on a truck, on a plane and out, and they were on the ground within 48 hours.
I saw the pictures of it. That is fabulous. Do you know how they're going to be distributed?
No, I assume through Central Command, which means that they're the ones who have the only the safest supply chain, the securest supply chain.
Yeah.
So
I just wonder who's going to get to use them, and are they going to set something up for wireless so that people can go over there in that area and maybe tap into it so that they might be able to.
Well, the internet is
send
still
messages
working.
And things like that.
The phone and internet is still working there. This is a backup.
Oh, okay, good. That's good because that gives them time to get things
get it all sorted. Paul is saying that they sent about 500 dish and receiver packages, which is substantial.
That just puts me further back on the line. Son of a... Oh. Yeah. I'm not on the line. I'm kidding. Yeah. I'm kidding.
Yeah. We're doing good. We are doing great. Should we take a minute to address the chat? Or should we get to our...
Yeah, why don't we?
Yeah, why don't we? Let's see. Jeff pointed out that there's still no autopilot clone from Lucid. And I would add to that, I saw a video today of a channel that does EV reviews, and he's selling his Mach-E at 10,000 miles. Not because he doesn't like it, but because that's kind of how he does it. He doesn't keep cars long. And he was saying that Blue Cruise did not get any updates during the time that he owned it, which was very frustrating because Blue Cruise is not a very good product yet. And I think Ford is is starting to understand what everyone else has already figured out, which is this is very difficult. What feels like a small improvement is quite difficult.
It is, and isn't Blue Cruise limited to like certain roads?
It is not
Or is
only
that
certain
GM?
roads, it is only highways, and it is only very specific ones. So in my entire state, there are 2 roads upon which Blue Cruise works. And I live in a real state, man.
Yeah, which one is not real? You're
Well,
not going to say West Virginia again.
one
are
of the
you?
Dakotas, I'm reasonably confident is a myth. I mean, 2 Dakotas. Come on.
East Dakota is a myth.
I've been to East Dakota. Billings. Nope, that's West
You
Dakota.
might be. Billings is in Montana.
Oh, well, it was told me it was West Dakota.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, if you're going to fall for that, got to mention JJ. He thinks that Sam Alexander is still ignoring Nikola. But maybe we should maybe if Sam would just ignore Nikola, that'd be a better way of handling it. I really like Sam's videos on Tesla, but when he does it on other things and just calls them all a scam, he just totally turns into what he's fighting against, which is too bad.
You know, JJ taking shots at me here. Brian thinks Elon can go to Mars, but GM can't build an electric vehicle. I mean, they're struggling. I don't know if you followed the story of the Bolt. By the way, did you see? I think you were out of town for this. We should have covered it. Mary led the Bolt to another delay. The factory was supposed to be reopened by now. It has been pushed back again.
So where are we at now? Because I don't think the factory is going to open. I don't think they're going to. No, they're going to convert that over to something else.
Yeah.
Hair dryers or something.
I believe GM absolutely can build an electric car. I don't know if they can build it profitably. I don't know if they can build something compelling that is
competitive.
That is competitive.
Well, compelling, competitive. I mean the Hummer and the Silverado I think will be compelling. I don't know if they'll be competitive by the time they come out. I mean, the Hummer is almost not competitive. 320 miles or whatever it was, 329 miles
on a 212 kilowatt hour pack.
Yeah. I mean, come on, that's like building a car that gets a range of 90 miles, like these Fiats and Mini Coopers that keep popping up on my news feed. They're not. Anyway, we're talking about the comments.
Yes.
Not how far Mary led us, and I don't want to get on a rant.
Yeah.
Though I could, but I'm not going to.
So Digital Blade Canada said 5 Superchargers in Slovakia, 12 in Poland, 7 in Hungary. But again, even if it was 1 or 2, this is a gesture that is not matched by anyone else, ever. Gas stations do not give out gas. In disasters, they charge you triple.
That is true. Snake 2.0, I probably lost him as a subscriber, says, unfortunate you feel that way about car dealers. To lump all car dealers in the same basket is ludicrous. Okay, I'm sure that there are some good ones out there. Honestly, I really believe that there are some good ones out there. But they are in a for-profit situation where where the price isn't fixed, and everyone's expected to go in and haggle. And then they make money on the back end, and they don't mention it to you. There's just so many different things. In my experience working at a car dealership was an experience that made me go, wow, these are not, at least at the one I was at, not morally ethical people. And
the problem is the way the whole transaction is structured. It makes it easier for bad people with no values to become more successful than good people. And I have met car dealers personally who were, I thought, good people. But I have not had, I've bought many cars from dealerships. I've been to many dealerships, and I have found a disproportionate percentage of trash humans. So I am confident that your commenter is not among the trash people, but I guarantee you, if that person's been in the industry, they've known a lot of garbage people.
Yes, yes. Uh, I got to repeat this one. Scott says Germany is great at asking for your papers.
Oh, I mean, I mean, that's
Yeah,
that's true though.
yeah. You can't argue with it. It's yeah. So, Intimidator says that Rivian raised their prices $14,000 per vehicle today, even if you were taking delivery in April, which I had
Oh
not seen
no.
that.
So so I did see that Rivian introduced a lower spec variant or a shorter range variant, and then jacked up the price on the. Boy, that's
That
well, they know what it costs to build, and that's a problem with an EV pickup. If you're not going first principles, you're running risks of making it
well,
too heavy and too
they
expensive.
yeah, they say it's a lifestyle vehicle. So, um, yeah, that's kind of crazy. Short story on raising prices. When I had my Model Y on order, which only took 3 weeks when I ordered it last year, the price dropped $1,000, and before I could even say, "Hey, what's up with that?" Tesla had redone my contract and lowered the price of the vehicle $1,000. Now you got Rivian raising the price and then telling people who have already ordered it and think that they're getting it that you're looking at a price increase. I will have to look into that and make sure that that is accurate. No offense, Intimidator, but I gotta
Sure,
make
sure.
sure that that is true. But that is a bad way to go.
And I did see a comment on your stream. H2 Investment says, that's not nice. Germans are good people. I agree. We're not making fun of Germans. Uh, they're, I've lived in Germany. I do not have any animosity towards Germans. I've been there a number of times. So, with that said, yeah, I felt
Well,
dirty. Daniel Carlson says, I felt dirty when I sold cars for 2 weeks. Thank God I switched to an electrician. Even though it's harder, I come home with pride. I worked at a car dealership for a month. I was always very good at sales. And I thought, you know what? I love cars. I'm good at sales. This will be a good fit. And I said, the big thing is I'm not going to be, slimy and dishonest. And they were like, of course not. Of course not. That's not what we do here. So what they would do is instead of telling me to lie to the customer, they'd lie to me. And then I'd go tell the customer what I thought was the truth. And like this guy came in, he wanted to trade his old Impala. No, he wanted to trade his Durango for an Impala across the board. And it was an easy deal. And I wrote it up. I took it in, and they said, "Nope, we can't do it. We need another $1,000." And I was like, "Really?" Because the guy's gonna walk, and they're like, "Nope, if it's $1,000 or no deal." So I went in and I said, "Sorry, $1,000 or no deal." And the guy's like, "All right, take care." And he walked out the door, and my manager screamed in my face, "What's wrong with you? We'll do it. We'll do it. We'll take the deal." I was like, "You're lying to me?" Oh my gosh.
I had a similar experience where almost the same thing happens. I get a mother and a daughter. Mother's taking her daughter in for her very first car, and it's a Toyota Tercel, 1990 Toyota Tercel. They were on sale for like $7,000 is what they cost, brand new. You're talking stick shift, no AC
Right. But
in Arizona, but and all those things could be added on if just to jack up the price. So I'm literally working out a deal with them, and I go into the tower where the managers are, and I'm like, this is where they're at. They've got no more, and the manager stands up. It's a glass tower, and he's yelling through the glass. I only need $5 more a month from you, just $5 more, and we've got a deal. That's all I needed, and we're there. and this car is yours, looking at the daughter. And I'm like, okay, all right, well, I'm not making any commission because that's how close we are. They say yes. My commission on the car, or the commission, the overall gross on the car was $1,000. So they could have actually dropped the price $10, $15 a month. But
That's a
instead,
big markup on a cheap car.
the markup isn't usually that big. They were above sticker, more than
Wow.
likely, because to get $1,000 on a $7,000 car,
Wow.
and I was just like, wow, okay, I made a good commission. I guess I should feel good about that because maybe I won't have ramen noodles. But on the flip side of that, I was like, that was jacked up.
Right.
So,
So
and there's more stories, but we don't need to go into
I
them.
wanted to throw out a quick reminder, specifically to the folks on Bear's channel. I need subscribers on this channel if this is going to survive, because this is right now I'm donating my time, and the amount of time I have available to donate is finite. So my power bill was $550 last month. So and we keep the house a bit chilly, but we're you know, daddy needs a fur coat is what I'm saying. So anybody who can subscribe, that would be wonderful. Maybe I'll make a new patron level specifically to help out the podcast. I don't know, but thank you for your time and attention, dear internet.
Okay, you guys got to help Ryan out because I really don't want to see him go back to hooking. Okay,
I'm too fat and old, but there's a market.
there's a market. Everyone's got their fetish. So help him out. Get on his channel, My Tesla Live, and subscribe because please, I don't want to see him on the pole either.
And YouTube's just crushing me. They make it very difficult for new channels. If you don't go viral out of the gate, you're going to have a tough go, as Bear and I both know, as survivors.
So another comment from JJ. Why Brian is okay with Tesla price gouging by 5K but not dealers? Because Tesla created and built the car. There is no reason for the dealer to be in the middle of it. That's my opinion of it. Is they built, they designed, they came up with everything that you want, and when you buy a car, you're buying it for the car experience, not for the dealership experience.
Right. And my philosophy on that, my answer on that is, when Tesla marks up the price, it makes them able to do more research, more development, and build more factories. When the dealership marks up the price, it buys an extra chalet for the owner. And Lily Mae left a nice comment. I would join your channel, but I don't like you. Well, that's fair, Lily. I like you,
Did
but
she really say that?
yeah, but that's okay. JJ suggested I could absolutely do OnlyFans. Yes, did you know? Apparently, there are artists on there who do not take their clothes off. Apparently, you can be like you can do anything. You can make music, or play ping pong. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, I can't make music, and I can play ping pong though.
Yeah,
Well, I can play pinball, not ping pong.
That's a show people go to. So great. Just make Nicola content and I'll sub. Your name Tesla Weekend is limiting. You're right, the name is limiting, and in retrospect, I should have thought that through. But it,
Maybe you should change the My Tesla Live to something else. Maybe we can get some input from the
Well, I was
viewers.
trying to-
My EV Live.
Well, I was trying to make the name similar so that my subscribers would come over, and many of them have, but not very many. But yeah,
Once they get there, flip the switch.
and more Nicola content. Nicola hasn't even made news this week. Hasn't even really.
They
made
really
news.
haven't, except for the fact that I could tell you what happened at the factory yesterday, which
Right.
is interesting but not newsworthy for them to put out a press release. But you know what? We did say that we were going to talk about their earnings a little bit for JJ.
Yeah. Let's do it.
So Nicola's earnings were not. I don't have that in front of me, but I'm going to go off the top of my head. They weren't great in the sense that they didn't have any declared revenue. They had no sellable trucks. The trucks that they did put out there were all test trucks, but they are part of the LOIs and the MOUs so that they can get the full orders of these trucks, which from everything that I've seen, it is going well. The testing of the trucks at TTSI, they are putting their production goal for this year between 300 and 500 trucks.
Great.
They are going to start their regular production, their production line, their first one, which will give them capacity of 2,500 trucks, but they're supply limited, so they're not going to shoot themselves in the foot and say that they're going to do 2,000. They're saying 300 to 500 this year as they ramp up, and that is opening up on March 21st. And who knows? Maybe I'll get an invite, JJ. I know you already mentioned it, that I was supposed to go there this month.
You were supposed to go there 6 months ago.
Yeah, but 6 months ago they said, okay, how about we do March? And then I was like, March? Don't you realize that Lucid will be producing cars by then? 6 of them?
Yeah.
No.
I do not trust Peter Rollins, I shall say, in part because of the shenanigans he's pulled with you.
Well, I understand that. Riley feels the same way, and I understand, but I to hold on to things for too long.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's not healthy.
I just want to, yeah. Anger doesn't get. Nobody ever solved anything by getting angry. Ask Vladimir Putin.
I asked Bruce Banner, and he disagreed.
Oh man, that is a really bad example.
Oh, is it?
Well, you know, Hulk says smash a lot.
He does. He does.
Nobody ever really thinks about all the people that are getting hit by the crap that he's flying around, that he's flinging around, you know? Keep that in mind.
Yeah. So let's see here. Why don't we get back into some... We got a couple more here. Which one you want to do next? Is it battery drain time?
You're dying for that one. No, range needed.
Range needed. I'm there.
All right.
All right.
This is a silly little article about how much range you really need in an electric car. I just wanted to bring it up because it's just bad. I mean, it's well written. Don't get me wrong, but come on. These people writing these articles may not have driven an EV. You can't live in a car that's going to have 100 miles worth of range just because all you're doing is 99% of your driving is to and from work, and you don't need more than 50 miles for that. This really ties you up. If you're, the point of this whole article is that we need smaller batteries, which I don't believe in that. I believe in range. I'm a range whore. The article goes on to just talk about, unless you're in Wyoming, Montana, or North Dakota, with long drives, you don't need a car with a lot of range. And I wholeheartedly disagree, and I don't think that EV adoption is going to become wide scale if manufacturers are putting out cars that are 200 miles of range.
Well, if you live in San Diego, why buy a car with windows?
Good point. Because it might rain.
Well, it does.
Just like
we just need windows. Windows is a thing. Range is a thing. And, what we've seen is the shorter range EVs don't sell well. And this article is not going to fix it, CNET.
Yeah, absolutely not. That does not help push the EV idea at all.
No.
But speaking of things that use your battery besides the car and why you need more range, there's all the things that drain your EV battery. And it's not just the motors. Just idling can use some of your battery power. Your AC and your heat are going to use a decent amount of it. This article has broken it down, and you could really get into going through this study that they did, trying to figure out what uses the most and what uses the least. It's kind of good information. It's kind of a nerd read, though, and that's okay. It's not too bad, though. I mean, I understood it.
Sure.
But it breaks down what's going to be using more power than other things. Lighting is almost nothing.
Right.
Audio and infotainment is almost nothing.
Right.
They've got an interesting comment here about dropping 2 miles per hour can save you 8.4% of the energy that you're using.
Right.
Just going from 70 to 68, and that's essentially increasing your range by nearly 10%.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you went 67, it would do that. Now, going back to the last article, I've been on plenty of trips, whether it's to Las Vegas or Mexico, where I am constantly monitoring my energy usage. Because if I decide to go 90 miles per hour, yeah, I know it's over speed limit. But if I decide to go 90 miles per hour for a couple minutes, if I get caught in a pack of everyone's driving fast, I can greatly deplete my range. And literally, you can look down 3 minutes after doing that and realize that oh crap, I need a supercharger. My
Right.
first road trip was in my wife's Model 3, and I took that up into the North Mountains. My friend has a cabin up there, and I had to bring a dryer adapter with me so that I could plug in when I got to his house, because there's no superchargers up there, zero. So as we're driving, we're going up hills a lot, downhills a lot. Going uphill, someone's doing 60 and the speed limit's 65. I go to pass him on the hill. Next thing you know, I'm doing 85, 90, and I get in front of him. Then the Tesla goes, you need to slow your ass down, because if you don't go 65 for the rest of this trip, you're not making it. And I still had 50 miles to go. I'm like, oh crap. That's when I first learned that Teslas had that the car's going to scold you, but you got to be mapped out to your destination, which I
Right.
was. If I wasn't mapped out and I just thought I knew how far it was and I knew the directions, I probably would have ended up being stuck on the side of the road, because I would have kept driving. But because the car knew I was trying to get to Greg's house, it knew, hey man, you better slow down. And it was just from passing that one car that it just kicked me into, you've used too much power. So do I want to worry about range? Yes, because I don't want that to happen. I don't want my wife or my family getting stuck out in the boonies just because they use just a little bit too much power doing something, whether they had their air conditioning on. My wife's constantly telling me to turn off the air conditioning when we're on road trips to save range.
So,
And I told her it doesn't use that much.
so Jeff
But go
pointed
ahead.
out that EVs don't idle, but what the article is explaining is that the infotainment's on, the power, there is power drain just sitting there. And then also there was another comment I saw: ICE cars lose range at 90 miles an hour too, and that is absolutely true.
But
Yeah,
if you're
wind resistance
that
is a factor regardless of your means of locomotion.
yeah, but the problem is with an ICE vehicle losing range right now. If that situation happened and I was in an ICE vehicle, I just would have gotten gas.
Right.
There's gas stations. I was going to a place where I knew that there was no superchargers. I had a cable with me and an adapter to take his dryer outlet out and put in mine,
Right.
because I knew that there was no place for me to charge. So this is like a one-way trip if I can't get it to work. If for
Right.
whatever reason I can't charge off of his house, I'm calling Tesla and asking him for 150, 200 mile tow, which
Yeah.
is just not what I want to do.
So we are at 5 o'clock now.
Holy crap.
We've just had so much fun. I do want to thank everybody in the chat. Jeff, Hockey Day, Digital Blade Canada, all you guys, of course, making sure. Paul, Daniel. Yeah, a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys managing to find the second channel. That's wonderful. Thanks, as always, to my beautiful, brilliant patrons, of course. Bear also has a Patreon. And what he
Yes, I
likes
do.
to do is say that if you support him a little bit more, he can fly more often. And that would be pretty cool, too, especially for, fans of his, of which I am. But
Thank you.
But
I'm your only fan.
right, you are my one
Oh,
subscriber on OnlyFans.
yes.
Oh
I'll
God,
see you later tonight.
that
Sorry we
is.
didn't get through all those comments today.
We got
We
through a
were
lot of
just
them.
yeah. Well, maybe on your side.
Well,
Maybe mine got ignored. Scott wants to know if I was being chased by the Mexican cartel, and that's why I need that extra
well,
range and
this
power.
time or generally.
The uh, the the speed limit in Mexico is optional in some places. If you're out of a town, you can go fast. If you're in town, you're getting pulled over. And yes, I got pulled over last weekend.
Yeah.
All right. But hey, everyone, please, thanks for watching this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please come back next Tuesday when we will be doing this all over again with all the important topics like
Different
battery
news
drain.
next week, I think we should do.
We should do what?
Different news next week. Instead
Different
of
news,
just doing
like-
the same ones. I mean, we could do a rerun.
Yeah. You want to
Just
do? We could do politics,
shot for
or
shot
we can
reenactment.
or maybe fashion.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys.
Just an idea. We'll look for comments. Oh, and Mark, thank you for the super chat that just came in. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to be it for today. Everyone have a wonderful day. I'll be back tomorrow with the Lucid Flyover live stream,
And I'll be
Brian
back on-
is always around.
And I'll be back on Friday with my live stream of a unknown topic as of yet.
Sounds exciting.
I can't wait. Take care, Bear.